Well, I'm back off grid, and I want to thank you guys for your tremendous support of last week's video about how people thought I was crazy to want to get an off-grid property with the potential for living off-grid. So I wanted to do a video today, reasons why someone would want to live off-grid or spend a great deal of time off-grid. So Rice and I are out here hiking around off-grid, and we're going to discuss a million reasons why we should do this. Well, at least some of my reasons. Stay tuned. One of my reasons for spending a lot of time off grid is the solitude. It's so nice hearing the birds, the insects, the sounds of creeks trickling, the leaves rustling, and even your heartbeat in your ears. Who wouldn't want to be out here, especially at this time of year? Such a wonderful time. It's the time of the fall harvest. And of course, all the beautiful fall colors. You notice a lot in this video that I'm wearing orange. Not in all areas, but in some areas I am wearing orange, and so is Royce, because it's hunting season and a lot of hunters in the bush, and we want to be as safe as possible. So when you're off grid this time of year, be careful, make sure that you're wearing your orange so you're highly visible. One of the other reasons I decided to get an off-grid property or just spend a lot of time off-grid, I'm not saying this is for anyone who wants to buy properties, just spending time off-grid. One of the reasons was I wanted to develop a lot personally. And so I wanted to learn about, just basic off-grid skills, starting a fire without a match, learning how to build a cabin. So that was a big deal for me. I've never built a house before, never built a cabin before. I wanted to learn how to do something like that. So the off-grid property allowed me to, do what I wanted to do on my own property without a lot of input from outside influences. And I was able to grow personally by learning how to build a cabin. So the cabin you guys see in the videos is one that I built with my partner, and basically, I built 50% of it. So really cool. I've never done this before. And so I learned how to put in windows, do insulation, put up walls, square up walls. You name it, everything. So that's another reason, was I just wanted to grow and learn at my own pace and do what I wanted to do. So the personal growth aspect of spending time off grid is huge. So whether you want to learn to navigate, whether you want to learn how to canoe, kayak, plan a trip, build a cabin, build a hunt camp, this is a great opportunity to do it. And certainly, like I said, you don't have to own property. You can just spend time off grid. You can spend quite a bit of time actually on Crown land. There are some rules and regulations in our province about how long you could kind of camp in a particular area, but it's just a great opportunity to learn and to grow personally. The land can be a harsh teacher though, and so that's something that you have to come to terms with as you're learning when you're spending time off grid. There can be emergencies, there can be situations you could never think of, weather, all these things are really important to consider and will enhance your personal growth. The more time you spend outdoors, the more you have an appreciation for where your food comes from and how hard it can be to acquire it when acquired off-grid. So it gives you real appreciation. Nature can be your grocery store, so you get a huge appreciation for the land. Spending a lot of time off-grid also helps you to grow and learn about the land itself. Learn about the trees, the plants, the wildlife, the wild edibles and what's not edible. So you can see here, there's a beautiful beartooth fungus I'm going to harvest. This is a beautiful edible. My time off grid, I have learned so much about everything about the land. It's really taught me a lot. Nothing beats bush school. Living out in the wilderness, living off grid, spending any time off grid gives you a greater appreciation for our planet and how we can best take care of ourselves and others. Well, another reason to spend a lot of time off grid is to tone your body. What's better than exercising for yourself? It's the best gift you can give yourself, is to stay healthy. And off grid is an awesome way to exercise. It's a great way to improve your core strength, your agility, your flexibility. I can tell you, I feel like I've been in the best shape of my life doing things off grid. You gain a lot of muscle mass, a lot of personal strength, and you feel pretty darn good at it too. Whereas I find myself, if I go to a gym, I tend to get bored, running on a treadmill, things like that. I'd rather be doing trail running or chopping wood or just hiking through the woods. The act of going over logs and sticks and twigs, really improves your depth perception. You're paying attention, you're using your core strength at all times. Even in regard to the dog, when he was a puppy, he was been in the woods since he was 9 weeks old. And that really built his confidence to be able to jump up and down off of things, cross streams, cross logs. He's in really, really good shape, and I hope to keep him that way for his whole life. That way he won't be so crippled when he gets older. If you don't use it, you rust, kind of thing. That's my theory. So you got to keep on moving, and what a better way to do it than spending some time off grid. And that goes hand in hand with pushing yourself to the limits. Another great reason. We don't grow without some degree of pain and kind of stress to our system, obviously. It doesn't have to be extreme, but the off-grid environment is conducive to pushing yourself to limits, doing things that you did not think were possible, and then growing from there. Of course, like I said earlier, built a cabin, didn't think I was going to do that. I've done many kilometer hikes through the bush, really enjoy that. Didn't have the fitness to do that about 8 years ago, but now it doesn't seem like a problem to me to go 10 kilometers up and around some pretty steep hills and things like that through the countryside here. So it's pretty amazing. It's a great opportunity to push yourself, test your limits. And there will be times as you test your limits that you're afraid, not sure what you're getting into. Why did you get into this? Maybe they were right, maybe you were crazy. But honestly, just stick to your dreams and to your goals and stay focused. It'll be all worth it. Speaking of more personal growth, here's some honey mushrooms. These are great mushrooms. They are found, they're kind of a parasite actually to wood. I quite often will find them in the property in the cedar area there, destroying the trees. One of the largest living organisms is actually honey mushroom colony. I forget how many kilometers the mycelium stretches, but you can see there the white spore print from another mushroom in the cluster on top there. So these are honey mushrooms. I know some people make them in soups and stuff like that. They tend to be pretty prolific. As you can see down there, there's a clump of them. They should always be growing off of wood. Make sure that you know the difference between this and a deadly Galerina. Galerina is a bit smaller, and they have a rusty brown spore print. These have a white spore print, as you can see from the white on the cap of the others down there. Getting out of the rat race. I mean, who wants to be running around like a chicken with their head cut off in town? It's just become quite a problem in our society of not knowing how to relax and rest and take care of ourselves. We prioritize a lot of other people ahead of ourselves in our lives, and I realize that has to happen, but sometimes there's a huge imbalance there. So, taking care of yourself off-grid, super important. And another reason, to get out here is to just get off the rat race, get off that, that treadmill where we're all, can barely hang on for our lives, and just kind of decompress and relax. Moose season's coming up really shortly. Speaking of getting your food off the land and harvest time, and there's some moose droppings. Kind of old, but pretty soon, a lot of people get some food in their freezer. My throat's gonna give out. There's a lot of moose sign around here. I just thought I'd try my hand at a call here, see if I get anybody to message me back. Rate my moose call down below in the comments. Connecting with like-minded people. Off-grid, there's a huge community, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. I really enjoy all your support. You'll meet a ton of people that are interested in this if you really get involved with the community. There's lots of support groups out there. So even though you're off-grid, the big misconception is that you're lonely, you're isolated. Well, you're not. I mean, we can all connect with each other. Sometimes if you're going back to resupply, go back to town. There are a lot of forums about off-grid life. And I meet a lot of off-gridders if you're going to some maybe semi-remote areas. We've got a couple of neighbors or something with the same vision. So you'll end up meeting a lot of people, a lot of new friends, and that's really important. So a common misconception is you're lonely, you're isolated. Well, you're not. There's a huge community out there ready to support you. So speaking of community and community support, I need your help. I'd like to grow this channel to 40,000 subscribers from a year from now. If we can surpass that, that'd be amazing, but I need your help. We need to expand this community of ours, which is so wonderful, but to help me, and especially make me more visible on YouTube, because the algorithm can be a little bit weird. Please like my videos, share them, tell your friends about them. Maybe you belong to some off-grid groups. Share it there if you wouldn't mind. And don't forget to turn the little notification bell on. Really important so that my videos come up in your feed as a priority. I've had messages from some people saying that they thought I was off YouTube for a while because they didn't get notifications of my video. So please make sure to turn on the bell. Let's try to reach that goal. 40,000 subscribers basically by 2021. Let's do it. Take a look up there. Just want to interrupt you guys for a second. There's a log completely covered in mushrooms straight ahead. Let's go see what this is. Holy moly. This is crazy. Let's take a look. Wow. Take a look at that. Now, that's not turkey tail by any stretch, but look at what fungi do in the forest. Now, if we didn't have fungi, we would be up to our eyeballs or more in dead wood. But these fungi here are breaking down the wood. Isn't that awesome? It's actually old violet tooth polypore. There's a slight purple tinge to that. Really neat. This is really old. Not some fresh ones on here, but just amazing nonetheless. Habitat preservation. So if you're going to buy property or, regain land that was rightfully yours, basically it's important to do so that you can preserve habitat and manage the land from developers, for example. That's one of the reasons why we acquired this property of land, was we saw some very important habitat there, some endangered species that were spending time on the property, and I wanted to preserve them. So another reason to spend time off grid and possibly acquire a property or reclaim land that was rightfully yours is to preserve the habitat for generations to come. Bit of protection in the pandemic. So we're in some really unusual times right now, and a lot of people are actually flocking to more rural areas and off-grid areas so they can kind of reduce their social bubble, to reduce their risk to acquiring illnesses and diseases, and to reconnect with the land. So another reason to spend time off-grid is certainly during these times. It comes in really handy. You can connect with other people, maybe online if possible, or with a very small group of people if you're spending time with your family off land, reducing your risk to get sick. Off-grid, you can be completely self-sufficient. You can hunt, fish, gather, set up a place to live, and live there for quite a long time. So it's a great place to become self-sufficient and to take care of yourself and your family. And I find when I'm off-grid, I have a lot more time to read. I feel I'm so busy in town trying to organize everything in my life. When I'm off-grid, I have time to read. So what am I reading now? I'm reading Eden Robinson's Son of a Trickster. It's an awesome book. It's one of Canada Reads 2020 selections, so go check it out. Some of you guys have seen on Instagram about bluets. This is a bluet lookalike. This is a Cortinarius. You can see that that little rusty band underneath there, that little frilly bits at the edge of the cap. So this would look to you like a bluet, nice bulbous bottom of the stem there, and the cap color. It's a little bit, purpley, but boom, not a choice bluet. This is a Cortinarius, not an edible. There's a pull down, as my friend Gary would say, some sign of Bigfoot. Do you guys believe in Bigfoot? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, I couldn't go through all the million reasons why we would live off-grid or get an off-grid property or spend some time on Crown land. But I want you guys to comment down below, because clearly a lot of you guys are loving this type of lifestyle, and I want to know your reasons for spending time off-grid. Let's give everybody a hand. If they have to talk to a family member or someone about why they want to live off-grid, let's put some reasons down below in the comments. Hope you guys have a wonderful week and enjoy the fall. Take care.